Hi, my name is Danny Lovett, and my dad name is Danny as well, and he passed away in heaven. And this is my granny. This is my granny. Her name is Angela, but they call her Ask.
Amazing woman. Besides her own kids, she's raised 17 foster kids, helped raise her nieces and nephews, and even some of the kids on the block. She was always a caring and giving person. Like, I remember when I was little, we went to plenty of rummage sales, and she'll just specifically buy winter coats, and we'll just buy a bunch of winter coats. I sit there and ask her, like, T, why you just getting winter coats? Like, what's up with that? And she would never tell me. She'll just show me, like, what she was doing things and how she was going about things. Like, when winter came, she just gave away a bunch of winter coats. Like, just gave to the less fortunate and kids that didn't have much. Like, when my auntie first got sick and lost all her hair, man, like, we'll go to visit her and check on her and see how she's doing. We'll walk in and she'll be playing her guitar, crying, and she'll try to put on this fake smile like everything's okay, and we know everything was not okay. Like, she has lost everything. Like, she was not okay. I mean, she was not okay, and I just want my auntie to be better.
My name is Angela Cherie Kennedy. I was married Angela Cherie Lovett, but I was born Angela Cherie Kennedy. My initials actually spell Ask, and I always like to tell people that that is because I am one of God's, well, actually, I'm his favorite kid. Because Ask was always there. He was actually the one that asked the first question. He said, Adam, where art thou? So that's a little joke I kind of like to tell everybody when it comes to my name. I think it's kind of awesome. The title of my book is called Just Ask. And I titled that basically because I am just Angela Cherie Kennedy. So I'm Just Ask. And if you want to know anything, just ask.
Dr. Juan M. Kennedy.
Right. Dr. Juan M. Kennedy, how do you know me?
You my doggone sister. That's how I know you. You're a good sister. I seen the spiritual side of you that has come out, and it's a very powerful side. I see a lot of positivity that then came, but I've also seen the hurtness that you bear still now and bear in the past.
Well, my book, it starts out with me just explaining who I am, what inspired me to write the book. It's about the gain through pain. It's about the tears that I cried. I'm very transparent in the book. I tell you how wonderful my boy was, how he had a great big heart and he died of an enlarged heart. It's about my struggle with cancer, and I'm here to tell you that I lived through that. It's about when I had MRSA. It's about me being homeless. It's about me being married for 27 years, and then divorced, my failed relationships. It's about life. It's my struggle, and it's how I moved from point A and point B, and it's about my why.
I believe you're writing it to let the world know that when a child passes, it's like no one else can understand or whatever, but It's the way that you get through it. I don't know if I think it's a book that I'm looking forward to reading.
Perfect. Can you elaborate just a little bit more on me and your relationships as sister and brother?
Oh, I love you. I love you very much. I mean, as a sister goes, I mean, I don't think you could have a better sister. You know, and I mean that.
How did you decide to become a life coach?
Life experiences, really. And even though you have the life experiences, I went through the courses because I wanted to be able to do it correctly, and know that sometimes you can just have a conversation, but then do I always know the right questions to ask, the right way to formulate my answers. So I went through a number of courses to obtain my certification in a lot of different areas of coaching, but life coaching, and business one-on-one relationships are my expertise. Oh, and grief. That's number one. I was compelled to write, but at the same time I was compelled to write my story was the same time that I decided, hey, what better way to help someone, through not only through reading the book, but also being able to reach out, have those one-on-one conversations, and being able to actually help someone. Really, life coaching, being a coach is really helping you. You have the answers. It's just being able to pull those answers out.
So you said you have 4 children altogether, and through writing the book and becoming a life coach, has it helped them with their grieving process as well?
Well, actually, I've held everybody at bay as far as the book is concerned.
Oh.
My girls, there's 3 girls. So there's one boy, he was my firstborn and my only son, and then my 3 daughters, Lakeisha, Andrea, and Ashley. I've held them at bay regarding the book.
So they don't know?
They know that I'm writing the book. They don't know what's in the book.
Oh.
It's going to be a surprise to everyone.
All right. So who's your target audience with the book?
Really, the target audience is anybody that has gone through a loss, whatever that loss may be. Anyone that towards the end of the book, I talk about how to put one foot in front of the other. So it's transformational. There are those pivotal points in the book, and especially towards the end, that I give you ways, or I give you kind of an outline of how to move forward. So it's really geared towards anyone with loss. It's geared towards people in relationships. That if you don't want to be there, you really don't have to be there. Don't be conformed to the box. Just moving ahead and living life and loving life, understanding who you are and that you have a purpose. So anyone that has loved life, or anyone that has been through depression and wants to know. So it's really, I say it's for the world.
Warren Kirkendall.
Warren Kirkendall. And Warren, how do I know you? How do you know me?
Well, I met you through your brother. In some years back that I met you through your brother. You were energetic, and you kind of... So I met you through your brother.
And I was kind of what? Go ahead. I want you to elaborate.
He was kind of aggressive, and we talked and we laughed, and that was that, So I know that when Danny passed, you really were going through something, and it seemed like you felt kind of alone, but you didn't, even though somebody was trying to embrace you, you were like pushing back because I guess it was that you didn't know how to deal with it and wasn't accepting anybody else's input.
So take me back to that place, that moment when the world opened up and that sky fell for you. Walk me through what that was like.
I will first tell you there are gaps in that moment. I remember getting a call from his fiance, and she asked me, "Where's Danny?" And nobody ever calls me asking for my son. I always call around, "Hey, have you seen my son?" And she called that day, and she said, "Where's Danny?" And I said, "I don't know." And it's in the morning. It's about, I want to say about 9:15. And I tell her she doesn't live far. And he was at my house. And I said, "Well, go around and see how he is." And she said, "Okay." About 5 minutes later, I get another call. Now, it piqued something in me. I don't get these calls. And she said, and he said, his name was Dell, and he said, "Hey, Auntie," he's not, everybody calls me either mom or auntie, "Where's Danny?" And at this point, I'm really, really concerned. So I say, "I don't know, let me call you back." And I call my mom. And I said, "Mom, I need you to go," and because my daughter was actually moving to Sandy Springs, Georgia, my middle girl. She was moving to Sandy Springs, Georgia, and we had driven there. We left on that Friday. And so Friday I talked to him. Saturday, I spoke to him briefly. He spoke with his sister, Andrea. And then Sunday, I kept trying to call, but I didn't get through. And so now I'm asking my mom. She has the keys because, I said, "Hey, he seemed a little depressed. He seemed, not his normal self. He was always the life of my life, just the life of everybody." And he seemed just a little distant. And so I said, "Mom, go check on him." And at 10 o'clock, I get this call. And I hear her scream. And she's screaming. And she's saying, "Oh, Angie, and it's that I know. But yeah." So I say to her, "What?" And she said, "He's dead." And I remember screaming at her, saying, "He's not dead. Get off the phone. Call 911. My son is not dead." But in me saying this, I could still hear her saying, "Oh, Angie." That moment that my phone, I don't know, I can't remember when I hung up. I just know that my phone rung again, and it was it was Dale, the guy who called before, and he said, "Auntie," and I said, "He's dead." And at that point, he said, "What did you say?" And I don't remember if I repeated it. I don't remember. I have a niece. Her name is Caitlin Cherie, and I remember her coming out of the apartment complex where her and my daughter were moving into. And my daughter was at the hotel waiting for us to come back. And I remember her coming out. Now I see her, but I don't remember from that moment. I searched o'clock. I don't remember calling the airlines. I do remember there was an officer, cop on the phone, and he said to me, Angela, he's gone. And I remember screaming, you don't know my son. You don't tell me that. And then I don't remember anything. I remember being on the plane. And I remember thinking the whole time, he just needs me to get there. And when I get there, it's going to be like Lazarus, come forth. And I was going to say, Danny, come forth. I don't remember the ride from the airport. I remember, I think my niece, I have a daughter, Lakeisha, and a niece, Lakeisha. So my niece, Lakeisha, picked me up. And I remember saying to her, I want to go home. And she said, we don't think you should. And then wanting to take me by my mom's house. And I just remember walking through my mother's door. And I remember all of these people were standing around. And they looked at me. And I sensed why they were looking at me. But they weren't supposed to be looking at me because this is not my life. This is not that you ever want it to happen to anyone else. But it just cannot happen to me. Not my son. And then there's those gaps that people are mingling through the house. And people said that I said things and I did things, but I don't remember any of those. What I do remember is thinking, why the hell are you here? Like, you're asking me about an obituary, writing an obituary. You're talking as if my son is not going to get up. At any moment, everyone has to understand I am dreaming. I am in control of my dream, and I'm going to wake up, and this is not going to be true. And I never woke up from that because it's true. And that's the day. The day that I got the call was the day that my world turned inside out. And then the day that I put my son in the ground, knowing that he would never get up, was really, really the most painstaking thing I've ever had to experience. Cancer didn't do it. MRSA didn't do it. Being homeless didn't do it. You lose loved ones all the time, but when you lose a child, it felt like when they were lowering him into the ground that the umbilical cord was still attached and there was a tug. And other than that, things are a blur. Like, I know he's gone, but there's those moments, and I say that those are those moments that God still protects me, that I'm not ready yet to experience those moments. But that was the day that my world turned inside out. When he was born, the Bible says you dedicate your firstborn son back. And so I dedicated him back, and I remember saying, God, never let the devil take his life and never let him die in the streets. And He died on my couch. And he prayed more than me. And so for that, I'm grateful. Because I grieve now, but I don't grieve as if there's no hope. I grieve with hope. But yeah, my world is different. My journey is not the same. Life as I knew it, it's not the same because he's never coming back. So it's my job to live the best life I can and to help someone else so I can see him again. Losing my son was one of the most horrific things that could have ever happened to me in life. It had nothing to do with, the times that I was sick, the times that, I had MRSA, I've had cancer, I've been through some things in my life. I've lost loved ones before, but nothing is as traumatic to me as the loss of my son. So after a couple years of trying to really commit suicide, I sat down one day and I had a conversation with God, and that conversation ended up with God telling me that I yet had purpose. And so my purpose is to be able to help someone else and let you know that, in spite of your loss, the fact that you lose a loved one, there is life after death. And I'm not talking about the life of eternity. I'm talking about life after death. Here, that's one of those things I really became intentional in everything that I do, in my walk, in my experiences in life. I create those because I've decided that my son Danny was worth it. And so one of the things that I tell everyone when they ask me why I do what I do, and I tell them I do it because I breathe the breath that my son no longer can. He is my why. Without him, I couldn't do this. And so I'm very transparent. If you ask me a question, I'll tell it to you. I believe that a lot of times in life we go through things because sometimes people just don't want to tell the truth, or they don't want to tell you how they get through certain things. They want you to believe that it's all good, but I'm gonna let you know that it's not all good. I still have tantrums. I still go through, but in my going through, I don't grieve as if there's no hope, because I know my hope is in Jesus, and I know that one day I'll see my son soon. So I brought him some flowers, just to place on his grave. And like I said, I know that he's not here, but every now and then, like today is pretty cold, but every now and then I like to just come out and sit and talk to him, or talk to the grave, or it just gives me comfort sometimes. Just let him know, like, hey, baby, mama's doing this for you. I let you know that he is truly missed and I love him, and yeah, that's it. So sometimes, I really take, didn't mean to do that, but kind of spread them out, you will ever know, unless you're a mother or a father who've lost a child. We lose loved ones all the time. And I hurt when I lost my father, both of them. I hurt when I lost my grandparents, my uncles and my aunts. But the loss of my child, now that hurts. But I'm still here. I'm still here. And I will continue to breathe the breath that my baby can't. He is my why. He is my purpose. I learned to eat healthy. I exercise, all of those things, because of that boy that lays in that grave is dependent on me to let somebody else know Mama, you got this.
But I see you got past that because you didn't need people. You found who you really needed. You took God. And that's who helped you really get over this hurdle that you was in. Because, I mean, I see a whole different person right now. I see a different Angela. And it's all good. It's all good.
One day someone asked me, if you could bring anyone back, would you? And I said, I thought about it. And I said, no. And she said, why not? Wouldn't you bring your son back? And it was that day that I realized that I accepted his death. And I said to her, with all the cruelty in this world, he ran his race and he finished his course and he ran well. And I would not bring him back because that would be selfish. It is up to me to live the best life that I can so I can get to where he is. He's up there having a howdy-do time. He's enjoying his new life. I wouldn't take that away from him. My heart just misses him. As a mother, that is not the grand scheme of things. That's not the order that it is supposed to be. As a mother, yes, he was my son. He is my son. And I will always miss him. And my heart, I still have temper tantrums. My heart will always ache. But, you know, the Bible said, you ran this race and you ran well. But who hindered you? Nobody hindered him. He ran well. And it is that says, in spite of how much I hurt, I can't be selfish to bring him back. And so I accept that he is gone from his physical body here. I believe he's still chilling around every now and then, patting me on the back saying, go ahead, Mom. But I accept he's gone. And I'm going to live the best life, my best life, so that I can get to where he at. Because me and him, well, God, when I get there, we're going to be chilling. I'll be like, look, Daddy, look. So, yes.
My name is Keena Garvin. I am the mother of Danny Lovett, Angela's grandson, actually.
Okay, and how long have I known you?
You've known me for about 7 years, I believe, yeah.
And from the time that I met you up until now, have you noticed a change in me?
Absolutely, yes. You have definitely, you've grown more spiritual. You've definitely always been a spiritual person, but now I noticed that the relationship that you have with God is closer. You now it's almost like your everyday life, you walk with a purpose, like you have a purpose now. So. Mm-hmm.
And you know I'm writing a book, and can you describe a little bit what you know about the book?
Yeah, so I know that your book just goes into detail about your many life struggles and how, you deal with them. Also, how you dealt with the passing of your son and just how you manage your pain. So, yeah.
All right. And if you had anything to tell the world about me, what would it be?
It would be that Angela is a very goofy person. She loves to make me and little Danny smile. I love the relationship that she has with her grandson, Danny Lovett III. It's amazing. And like I said, she's a very spiritual person, and she's helped me in many ways that I'm not sure she knows that she has. So she's loved by me and little Danny, and she's an amazing woman. Absolutely.
My future plans are, one is to travel. There's more than just Wisconsin. And so I really want to travel. I want to reach multiple people. I will continue to write another book and then another and another. I've always wanted to be an author growing up. That has been my desire. So I love writing. So to continue to write, to continue to speak to those that need me, and then to reach out to those who don't realize they need me, and to love on as many people as possible until I don't have to do it no more.
Do you think your journey may transition into you becoming a motivational speaker, maybe doing a TED Talk?
Well, actually, TED Talk is on the way. It's on the rise. Yes, I am actually completing the forms, and yes, that is on my to-do list. And I have done transformational speaking. I've had a very small platform, but I am looking forward to stepping out just a little bit more and saying, hey, you know, I'm here and let's go for it.
If you had one final thought that you could leave us all with, what would that final thought be?
Believe in yourself. Trust the process. Never ever give up. No matter how hard life seems. Put one foot in front of the other. Figure out what your why is and just do it. Just do it. Is first. And it has come to a point that I've allowed myself to say that I breathe the breath that my son no longer can. I am here not because I choose to be here, but because my son, I wanted to make sure that who he was, his legacy never died. And so he's made this moment, this time possible. And I want you to know that there's a lot of parents out there who have lost their child, their children, and it's hard. But I want you to know that, man, you can make it. And there's always going to be those days where you'll want to give up, but don't. Because it doesn't matter where you are in life or what it is that you're doing. You're still here for a reason. Not only have I wrote my first book, Just Ask, but I am a transformational speaker because I am here to transform your life, to let you know that it's always a beautiful day. I'm a life coach. I'm an author. I'm a mother. I'm a friend. I am every woman. And so through my pain came great gain. And that gain is I'm only here, I believe, continuously because I still have work to do. And it's one of those things that I can't go home. I can't see God in peace until I complete what it is that God has for me. My son completed his journey. And so as I embark up on my new journey, I encourage you to come with me. I encourage you to follow me. If you have any questions, I encourage you to ask each and every one of them. Keep them nice. And yeah, I'm here. Let's do it. Let's go for it. And just ask. It's a beautiful day.
I love you, Dad.
We love you, Danny.
I breathe the breath that my son no longer can.